Family Connect special Friday night audit. Stay tuned.
Craig Sullivan, you have got the most amazing shirt I've ever seen in my life. What is that all about?
Hey, that's promoting our other show, 3 Minute Thursday.
Holy shit, dude. What have we done? The mistakes that we're making right now, unbelievable.
We're going to haunt us for years. Are you kidding me?
Hey. Good to see you. Craig, I thought we were canceled. We were off 3 weeks in a row. I think people are going to be disappointed we're here today.
I think they are too. You know, that or it's going to give an excuse to drink. One of the two.
Yeah, so I guess that begs the big question, Craig. What time is it?
Hey, it's time for an audit.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to the one and only Friday Night Audit. I'm Vegas Glenn. That's Friday. Craig, so great to see you, buddy. I can't believe we're back in the saddle. I feel like I'm a little out of practice here. There's a lot of pressure on today.
It is. I mean, you know, we've had a couple 3 weeks off, and all of a sudden we're back, and we don't have that many shows left this year. So yeah,
much to the relief of the internet, I'm sure. Yeah. Anyway, I'm here. I'm at Resorts World, Las Vegas. I had a great opportunity to host the Nevada Hotel and Lodging Association's Technology Conference. It's their 3rd annual one, and each year, Craig, I get to host this shark pool competition, which puts all of these different vendor companies.
It's called Shark Tank. ABC is going to sue you.
That's why they call it, Dave. That's why they call it Shark Pool over at the Lodging Association. These Vegas people, they got lawyers. They know how to get things done. So that was a whole lot of fun. Anthony was in town to join us. He was one of the judges on there. We got a cool interview in while we were here with Cynthia Kaiser Murphy, who's the GM over at the Palms. I spoke to all these executives over here. So a lot of exciting things to talk about, but. Craig, we got a guest and all that, so I don't want to keep blabbering away when we got someone here for us.
We do, and you know what? Before we bring him out, best dinner I've had all year was with you. The last time we were in Vegas, and we were at Bazaar.
Yeah, Meat Bazaar at Sahara
dinner. Oh my God, that was just the best. You know, I've had dinner at their restaurant in Beverly Hills. I got to tell you, I like Vegas better. That was the best dinner of the year, without a doubt.
Everything here is much more fun when you're in Vegas. When you're in Beverly Hills, you're probably getting back into your car. Here, you're walking out into a party. You know, it's a little bit different kind of an atmosphere, which is so much fun.
Exactly. So, hey, we've got a first-time guest. Okay, they're going to lose their virginity today.
That's very exciting. I'm glad we could be a part of this.
Exactly.
That's my too, guys. Have a good night. I'll see you later. Have fun.
Yeah.
Peace. I am not.
Peace out.
Right. Oh, fortunately, it's consensual, and we signed the appropriate paperwork, so we're going to be okay here, Craig. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. You know, now he is really one of the all-time best people in hospitality. He helped.
Chris, we'll get to your question in a couple of minutes. Sorry, Craig. Go ahead. Yeah.
He took a brand from roughly 105 hotels to over 550 in about 7 to 8 years. And then he started following his dream. He wrote a thesis when he was in college about a dog hotel, for the lack of a better term. And he opened that up. It was called the Doggo. And then he, made that a terrific hit and very profitable. Then he moved to Baja, Oklahoma, Texas. And he started a new company. And we haven't seen each other in years. We used to have a lot of fun at the old Hard Rock, not the Hard Rock, but the House of Blues, especially the one on Sunset. But Jon Sturgess, the living legend, is with us today.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Jon.
Hey guys, hey, I want to introduce you to Maverick. Since my life's gone to the dogs, here's my dog Maverick. Say hi, Maverick.
Hey, Maverick.
Hey, I liked your movie last year. Great job flying those jets.
Oh yeah. That's his side job. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, John. It's been so long since we've actually been in the same room together. It was, great when you were in the audience a few weeks ago and we talked and you decided to join us on the show. It's just been forever. I see all these pictures of your family and your little girl has turned into a beautiful young lady. Your wife is still one of the most beautiful young women on the planet. And you got old. What the hell happened?
Oh, haven't we all?
He was friends with you. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Good one, Dave.
Yeah. House of Blues was the beginning of that, Craig.
Yeah, yes, it was.
What they call it, the House of Blues. That's how you felt after they gave you the check you spent so much over there?
Guys, I know it's been 3 weeks without a show because God forbid we do anything without Glenn.
I know.
Or me.
It has been a long time, so let's get this done first.
Thank you, Dave.
You're the guest. You've got the drink of the show. What do you got there, John?
I've got a margarita for Friday and for California. So that's and a little bit of Texas. Yes, guys.
Nice.
Nice. Craig drinking a beer, and unfortunately, I was having all sorts of issues today, so I'm drinking water brought to you by Genting Rewards over here at Resorts World. So that's unfortunate for me. It's all right. I'm still sobering up from the Barry Manilow experience I had last night, so that was a whole lot of fun.
There you go.
Wow.
It looked like it.
There you go.
The clip that you sent me last night.
Speaking of being sober, Glenn, we're going to get back to Chris's question in a second, but Nikki Fox is saying, congrats on the Sphere, Glenn. And I'm sure you know why she's saying that.
Yeah, baby. That's why I'm wearing my llama to boot fish shirt April 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 4 nights, 8 sets, all different visuals and songs every single night. Boom, boom, boom. I can't wait to be there. I want to put together hopefully a hospitality happy hour, and we could all go fishing together while we're over there. So that's gonna be awesome. I woke up yesterday. I'm in Vegas, so obviously I'm 3 hours difference than the East Coast. And I woke up, my phone had so many messages on there. Right? It's like it was hysterical. Yeah. So the whole morning exploded with all of that, and so all my friends already made hotel room reservations, and even before we got tickets and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun. So who would have thought that they'd be the second band of the Sphere? Obviously, we knew it was all going to be inevitable. I'm actually a little surprised with the Rolling Stones doing this big final tour that they haven't announced doing something yet at the Sphere. I drove by the other day on the way to this tech conference, the Big Legion Stadium, and it looks like they're playing over there next summer, which makes sense. They're still big enough for that. But how cool would it be to have the Stones at their final chapter of their career close it out with a crazy residency over at the Sphere? That could probably be the biggest payday you can imagine.
Yeah, most likely.
Maybe. It depends, I guess, right? Like we talked about this, right? There's a lot that goes into planning those shows at the Sphere. You have to have a very specific set of things for that, I think. Like Fish, obviously, we had that big conversation however long it was ago about the Sphere. Fish we all knew was going to be there. It was a question of if, it was a question of when. And there's going to be a ridiculous type of visual experience going on there. But, the capacity is limited. And I'm sure that someone did the math and said, well, for the cost to put the Sphere show on compared to the amount of tickets we can sell, compared to what we can do at Allegiant and sell the amount of tickets we can sell there's probably just
they could probably sell. I don't know what capacity is at Allegiant, but I think the Sphere is like 18. So Allegiant's got to be Allegiant 3 to 4 times more.
80, at least,
right? Yeah. So you're right. You're right about that. They could do one show instead of 4, but when you put in all the money that it's going to cost to program that stuff, then
So it's 65,000 capacity for football. It's 71.8 for soccer. But I'm sorry, 61 for soccer, 71 for expanded NFL. But again, remember, you're talking about a concert, right? So you're going to have seats all over the field. You're talking at least probably another 10,000 plus seats that are going to be on the sidelines and on the field.
Yep.
So let's call it 75,000 seats.
Yeah. So the big question I have, gentlemen, is I went to go see Barry Manilow last night. It was great. He did like Christmas songs mixed with some other stuff. He came to go to the Swift show with the Sphere. He's going every night, right? Once they announce it.
I'm going to buy myself some tickets and then book my flight to leave during the show.
So Depeche Mode is playing tonight at T-Mobile Arena, and I'm flirting with going to see that over at the arena tonight. There's plenty of tickets available that I could get. So I don't know.
There's a reason why there's plenty of tickets available.
I know my buddies have seen it, and they said it was a really good show. So I don't know if I want that 80s throwback. I had my 70s throwback last night. I don't know if I want the 80s throwback or not.
Yeah.
God, that reminds me of college.
Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
What show are we talking about?
Depeche Mode. Yeah. David's not too versed on some of these bands, John. So.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't know anything that happened before like 1987, so we forgive him.
Yeah.
Don't you remember all the girls when we were in college? They were listening to Sinead O'Connor, Depeche Mode. You know, they were hot.
Don't forget the Smiths.
The Smiths.
Yeah, I've never heard of any of those people.
Oh boy, we were listening to Midnight Oil and U2 and the Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Is that the same as the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Am I even being facetious?
Yes, correct.
It's the same. It's the same.
Yeah. We appreciate, Dave. We appreciate that you would put yourself at emotional risk to ask that question because you know you're opening yourself up for an attack.
Licky wants to know if I'm explaining EBITDA to concerts.
All right. I did want to get to Chris's question. I'm not running the soundboard. Dave is running everything because I'm having some sort of equipment issue. So did they tear down the F1 track yet? There's parts of it that have already been removed. A lot of it's still there. It's going to be, I think, a little while before they get that down. What is notable is when I was speaking to my friends over here at Resorts World, they said the weekend was absolutely incredible for them. Same when I spoke to Cynthia Kaiser Murphy over at Palms Casino Resort. They said it was a great weekend. And then proof number 3, MGM Resorts today, their CFO, Jonathan Halkyard, came out, said that weekend was the most profitable weekend that MGM has had ever.
Wow.
Ever.
Really?
How crazy is that?
Really?
Well, I guess they're going to have it back again next year then. So,
Well, okay. So how does that happen when everything you see leading up to this is that hotel prices have fallen to like the $10 range? And tickets on the resale market were dropping by like 80% for the event. And, all this negative publicity in the days leading up. Is this like corporate speak because they have to say they did well?
No, because they're a public company, so they're going to.
I know that. Obviously, the numbers are going to be there, right? Yeah. You have to show the numbers, but
the massaging of it,
something's not adding up because everything leading up is either the hotel prices had tanked, tickets prices had tanked, but now you're saying everything was up, which is great if that's the fact.
I think what we're seeing is that they also raised the prices on everything as well. So for the people that were here, they're probably paying more than they normally would for your average thing. I heard something about, I don't know which resort, just telling you what I heard. Sandwich, chips, and a soda for like $40, something, stuff like that. So you extrapolate that around. Plus, apparently, there was a whole lot of drop at the tables. That's where you got the winning combination.
That's where it's going to happen. Is the drop at the tables and the machines. So
so Dave. So what I think what happened was, based on what I've heard and some other research that I've done, they went out there trying to figure out what this actual size of a luxury audience was going to be to pay the top dollar for this, right? So they didn't really know, and there's a lot of learning that went on. So what you saw did occur, but probably because they thought that there'd be more higher roller people that would spend that kind of money, but now they understand what the size of that market's going to be. So I think next year is going to wind up being even more profitable because they're going to come out of the gate with more of a variety of package pricing that's going to get more of that middle market that decided to stay home. Also, a lot of the locals decided to stay home instead of coming down to this area, and that wound up helping a lot of the local restaurants and stuff like that. And they had a great weekend too.
Glenn, how's Vegas doing coming back from COVID, number one, and then guys in general, the hospitality industry? What are you guys seeing right now? Now that I'm in the dog hotel business.
I definitely want to. We got to get to talk about your dogs. I think your business seems really interesting. But what we're seeing here now is month after month after month, record. The gaming drop for October was $1.3 billion here in Las Vegas alone. They're doing great. The airport is at record numbers this year. But again, you got to ask yourself, why is it so great? And that's because I'm seeing the pricing here in this town really start to get expensive. It's starting to become markedly noticeable. So I'm concerned. I love this city and I love all of my executive friends in this city and I want to see them be successful. But I'm getting nervous that we're hitting a point where people are going to start to be like, I'm going to stay home. So they may be in a sweet spot or they may already be pushing it a little bit too much at this point. But anywhere you need to go, a cab ride is now like $30 instead of $20, right? The drink prices are all kind of sneaking up. An omelet I went to 3 different places. Omelets were $24 a piece in 3 different places I looked up. So, you got to figure that out. Now, when Fontainebleau opens, and I wish I could tell you about it. I got to see that resort this week, but I'm not allowed to mention it until the 13th. When that comes into town, that's also going for that high-end luxury market as well. And I think that's going to bring some more celebrity to it. So it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of reshuffles everything in town. The people here at Resorts World, they're excited for Fontainebleau to open because they think that it's going to create what I call the cluster effect. The more, the better everyone does, right? Yeah. Because it'll start to be much more of a draw to this side of town. So the city's got a lot of opportunity, and I think with some of these expansions, it might keep the pricing in check, which will help the city overall be able to keep expanding. They're talking, John, about the airport in 2037, reaching 65 million maximum capacity. So they're talking about another airport already 20 miles from here.
When I was in the hotel business, or the human hotel business, as I now say, there was a stage where they were trying to make it more family focused. And then it went to where they got away from that, where it's what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And I've heard it's trying to go back to more family. Is that correct?
No, it is not more family, although there are more families here than there ever have been before. It's really much more like it's really all for conventions and California kids, I feel like, at this point. That's why I think that the pricing has been able to sustain itself for so long. That's been here, is because when you're paying with the corporate credit card, that $22 drink doesn't sting. But I talked to a lot of civilians out there, and people are starting to bring their own alcohol. I'll stop at one of the gift shops and buy a Modelo out of the fridge as opposed to getting it at the bar.
I mean, listen, honestly, I want to get back to Vegas as much as anybody because I've only been once, and we know that story over and over. But I just cannot, in good faith, go out there knowing I'm paying $60 or $50 or $40 for a basic meal. When I can go, the point to Vegas for me really would be the gaming, right? I don't really care about the shows out there, honestly. I would love to do the fish show. That might change things, but Chris makes a good point.
Dave, right? I don't know your story, Dave, but did they make a couple movies about it?
No, it was a couple horror films. But if the rates jump,
good.
So Chris is asking if rates jump too much. Well, that starts to research Tunica or Biloxi, in our opinion. I think the gaming market is kind of, now I'm not a gaming expert and I don't pretend to be a gaming expert, but I've been fascinated with this business for 25, 30 years already. And I think what Las Vegas is really a convention center town and an entertainment town. It's not a gambling town anymore, though gambling is still a centerpiece of it. I think that people that are interested in gambling specifically will have already been going to Biloxi, would have already been going to Tunica. And I think we're past those years of those are the minor leagues and then people want to come to Vegas. to go play in the major leagues right now. So I don't think that there's any connection at all anymore to regional gambling as compared to the future of Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas is very specific unto itself because it has so much more beyond that casino floor.
Well, you look at all the entertainment. You look at the residences.
Yeah, Carrie Underwood's here tonight. For people that love her.
On and on. Yeah.
Yeah, she puts on a great show. I'm not a big country music fan, but I happened to see her once. Phenomenal performer,
Yeah.
So this resort's going to be buzzing tonight,
Which means table minimums are going to be $25-$50 each. But listen, guys, we are talked about Vegas enough. I mean, we could talk about Vegas all entire.
I want to talk about dogs.
But Nikki Fox has a question because she's not sure if she knows Jon, but she feels like she should. Jon, tell us more about yourself.
Absolutely. So, as Craig knows, I met him when I was in the hotel industry. I was in the hotel industry 25 plus years. I started in operations, working with companies such as DoubleTree and companies like that, and then moved to development, working for groups such as Cendent, Wyndham, Carlson, heading up development for North and South America for them. Little stint with Hunter Hotels and the hotel brokerage side of it. And now my life's with the dogs. So literally with the dogs. When I was in the hotel space, like I said, that's where I met Craig. You see him all the time. But when I was in hotel space, I used to take my two dogs, two golden retrievers, to a lodging place. And because I'm a hotelier, I felt, wow, I could do this better. I could offer a better product, just like hoteliers we do when we stay at hotels. It's like, what are they doing well? What are they not doing well?
Right.
So I looked at it and then I thought, wow, I could do this better. And it was very hard to get in because at that time there weren't many of these. So I started looking into the industry and I found out it was the 7th largest industry in the United States. It was going by $3 billion a year. It's now it's a $137 billion industry, if you can believe it. That's the whole pet industry.
Is it for the United States or globally?
That's the United States.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. Wow. It's goodness. What is it? 40% of U.S. families own a dog. Yeah. 65% of U.S. families own a dog or a cat. So it's pretty incredible. And what percentage of
families have 4 cats like I'm forced to have? Would that be like 0.0001%?
I don't. Well,
can I trade you 4 cats for a dog?
I think somebody else is in charge there, Glenn, to making you have that many dogs. I'm not, or that many cats. I'm not sure.
No, that is true. No, that is true. It's one of those things, Jon. Like, I didn't need 4 cats in my life, but now that they're there, they're there. So I love them.
Well, the one thing about this industry that's great, but also there's a service component of it that you deal with also in the hospitality industry, right? Is people don't treat their dogs and even their cats like they're pets anymore. A bird's a pet, a fish is a pet. Now a dog and a cat, and especially dogs, but also cats. They're kids. They're kids, and it gets to be very emotional, which is good because people want that much more for their animals. They want that much more service, that much more availability, and the simple. So I did my research and I got into it, and we have Adogo Pet Hotels. I then started Retrieve One, which is a advisory consulting business. We focus on hospitality with our primary focus being pet industry, but we also do other hospitality. And then just 2 years ago, I bought a pet toy business, which we do business all over Europe, the United States, Australia. We're growing. We're still a small business, but we're growing, and very excited about that. Having a record year this year in that industry. So that's really my love. It all came down to my love of the hotel business, my love of hospitality, and my love of dogs. That's what it came down to. You met one of my dogs a second ago. I've got another dog that looks like Craig's dog's twin, not Craig's twin, but his.
Oh, that's too bad.
I don't know. The beard's gotten all gray, or all white.
So, John, that's really cool. Yeah.
Both John's English Cream and mine both watch television. It's hysterical. We'll send each other pictures of the dogs.
I sent you that video with the National Dog Show was during Thanksgiving, and my dog was literally watching it, and every dog that came up, he barked in a different way. Somehow he was talking to those dogs.
So, so what's the most important thing for a dog in your one place? Is it Wi-Fi? Is it, a good amount of TV channels? What are these dogs really looking for? Maybe they're looking for experiences. Maybe they're looking for a good massage. I don't know.
Cool.
The main thing is the dogs want a coffee maker in the room and they need to have Wi-Fi. If they don't have that, the dogs won't stay, and we'll get a bad review.
Right. Yeah, for sure. All right. So, John, seriously though, what's the difference between the product you have and what people would colloquially call like a kennel or something like that?
Yeah. The local news has called us kind of not to go branded, but they brought this up. They kind of called us the W or the Westin of pet hotels. So they're just like the hotel industry.
So you immediately put all the dogs in black T-shirts and pants, and and make them all hover together in corners.
Yeah, and they go down to the bar. Yeah. No.
I think you mean they go down to the bar.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, just like in the hotel business, there's a level for everyone. There's the Motel 6s of pet hotels. There is the Holiday Inn Express. There is the Marriott. There is the Ritz-Carlton, and it's also just like in the hotel space. It's market to market. But your actual question, Glenn, was what makes it different? What?
Right.
There's three major things, and I can go into more detail. Number one is location, right? Just like in the regular hotel business, that you need to be in the right location, whatever you want to focus on,
right?
Understanding the market. The difference on a location perspective, unlike the hotel business, in the hotel business, it's about feeder cities, right? So if you have a hotel in Chicago, Dallas, LA, Miami, what are the feeder cities that your customer is going to come from to go to that hotel? In the hotel business, and this is the majority, there are some differences, but in the in the dog business, it's typically within 5 to 10 miles of that location. All right. Yeah. Except for one of my hotels is at an airport. So that focuses more on people leaving. So where we're different, where it's people coming in the hotel space, for dogs, it's people leaving or such. That's number one, location. Number two is the facility, just like a regular hotel, that you have a very nice, clean facility. You offer certain services such as daycare, such as boarding, such as grooming. The goal is when you bring your dog to us, your dog stays with us for boarding. Your dog gets daycare, so it's not stuck in its room all day and it's playing with other friends. And the dog also gets to get groomed. So grooming, boarding, and daycare. And then the last thing is service. Service is the last part of this that is so important, just like in the hotel space, that when somebody comes to the desk, meaning the owner of the dog, we pay attention to it. One of our training processes is that the people, the employees, and the employees are what make it work, just like in the hotel business. But the one thing that is so important is when somebody comes to check in, we know the name of that dog.
Right.
Okay. Think about that. Think about different levels of hotels. You go to one level and you just hope to get a nice clean bed and a nice clean shower. You go to another one and you want them to know your name. So when you come up to valet, they know your name. But the owners aren't as worried about us knowing their name. They want us to know the dog's name.
Yeah.
So those are the three main things.
Right, because if you know the name, that means you have a good philosophy there, and that you care, and that you're going to look after these animals. It probably means that message sends a lot to the customer, I would think.
Well, and part of that, it's not just care in a global sense. It's that you understand the dog's personality. You understand, like when you think of your friends or other people you work with, when you think, hey, Craig, Craig is a certain way, right? Dave's a certain way,
I know.
But it's true, right? And you could count on certain people. There's so that philosophy or that psychology behind it is important that you know, well, this dog's very active. This dog is not active. This dog does not want to leave the person. It's all of that. And just like in the hotel business, everyone has a different thing that they want, but it comes down to the experience. Is it a nice, safe experience and a fun experience for the dogs?
So what is an experience like for a dog over there? I've never owned a dog, so I don't really understand how all of that works. But back in the day in kennels, I feel like you just put them in a carton and they just sat there until mommy and daddy came back. Yours, I'm sure, is completely the opposite of that. So if I was Mackay coming in there, what would my experience be like?
It's like going to camp. It's like going to camp. These.
Well, I hope you weren't giving those guys these special doggy treats, which is why they look that right.
There are times we could be the Love Boat of dog hotels. So anyway, no, it's the dogs. It's like camp. I'd say 90% of our dogs, they come just for daycare. And the reason they come to daycare is somebody's working, somebody's working out, they're doing different things. So that's one of our services, daycare. Then the next is boarding, and they're staying overnight for whatever reason, right? There's travel. That we have our corporate dogs, meaning their owners are corporate travel. You have our leisure dogs, all of that. But the dogs come in, and because 90% of them are loyal dogs and loyal owners, they know each other, so they get so excited. I'll give you an example. Last week at Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving checkout, I received a video of this that I could send you guys. And this dog, the owner was checking out. We brought the dog up front, and we have our checkout, our check-in and checkout is just like a hotel. You go up to the desk, front desk, we have our computers, you check them in, and so on. Well, we brought the dog up. It was a Labrador Retriever. We brought the dog up, and the dog in our lobby sat down and wouldn't get up. The dog had so much fun, he did not want to leave a dog. I mean, it's but it's think of it like it's a camp for dogs, meaning they come in, they get to play with other dogs. They're boarded. And another thing that makes us different is a lot of people, because this space is so successful right now, a lot of people are trying to do this just like you see in the hotel business. And some are very good at it, some are not good at it. But that's anything that happens in a growing industry, that you're going to get a lot of influx of people coming through that think they can do it. But it's not easy. Just like restaurants and hotels are not easy to do. You've got to provide a certain service for both the owners and the dogs.
So my question for you mentioned loyal dogs and loyal owners. Do you have a loyalty program for these dogs? And do the Diamond Elite level dog members get upgrades to the Sweet Cage? How does that work?
Dave, that's a great question. We do have a loyalty program. It's not not simply that they get an upgrade, but we do that. It's really more that they get points. And the way we have it set up at Adogo is the points are based on what you spend. So you get so many points per dollar spend.
Like Delta, you mean? Like
Delta? I knew that was coming. I knew it.
It's just like the airline business, in that way. And then the owner can use those points back at Adogo.
Got it. Yeah. So it's exactly like Delta. And basically, just like Glenn, you have a dog in a cage the entire way. So it's fine.
Now, John, what are some of the amenities? Do you have pools for the dogs in certain locations, obstacle courses, those type of things?
Most of our locations, Craig, have water fountains outside. We have webcams inside. One of the things that we do, I've noticed, especially since this industry has grown, a lot of people getting into it are trying to do all these piecemeal things. Kind of like you saw, remember it used to be called amenity prep in the hotel business? Yeah. Okay, this group did a continental breakfast and they had a coffee machine. Well, the next brand came in and they had a full breakfast, So in the same way, we try to keep it real simple. We try to keep it simple where that dog is going to go into daycare. And just picture a daycare. Picture a big room with dogs. We always have somebody in the room with the dogs. There are a certain percentage of dogs that just lay around. They don't want anything to do with anybody. They just lay around.
No. How many of them are named Glenn?
Yeah. No, Glenn. I'm sorry, Glenn. You would not be the no. You would be the next group, Glenn. You would be the group, mischievous group that is running around with other dogs. And then we have, and that's about a third. And then the other third are dogs that won't leave the person. They want to be next to that person all the time. And our biggest thing is we try to keep it simple. For example, many places you have to pay for boarding and daycare is separate. So you pay X for boarding, and then if you want to, to me that's silly. We offer, you get daycare with boarding.
Right.
So that is a benefit of coming to us, and that's why people like us so much, right? Now you could change that, but the other part of it is the grooming. Why not, while your dog's with us, get a bath or a groom for your dog, and that way you don't have to do it again. So it's a little bit of a one-stop shop. There are others, Craig, that will for $5 we'll give your dog a hug for this. To me, that's silly. That's silly. No. But they'll do that, and the thing is, owners don't know the difference. Owners are like, well, I want to pay for that. No, you're getting that anyway because we're spending so much time with your dogs, and they're spending so much time with we keep the smalls together and the mediums and the larges together. We don't put them in one group. We separate them in their different size and temperament.
Now that makes a whole lot of sense. Probably
by size and temperament. Okay, Glenn's at 185. I'm at 208. David's at 175. So I'm guessing we'd all be in different.
I mean, I was in 8th grade.
I know this is a comedy show and all, but correct.
I was trying to be nice to David. I really was.
You guys call me fat?
I would never call you fat.
This is on camera. I'm going to HR.
well, based on that, we do separate them not just on size but temperament. Like I'd be in the 160 group, and so would Craig, you and I, and Dave. So the three of us would be in the 150 to 160 group, and then we put Glenn with the big dogs because he would cause so much trouble.
Well, now here's a question, right? Because you mentioned, you kind of alluded to it before, right? For a lot of people, dogs, at least in their minds, are like kids. What happens when there is an issue between a fight or an injury, or how do you have that conversation when someone's picking up their dog and they may have a broken leg?
Yeah, there's kind of different. That's a great question. So let me start it this way. The first thing, every dog that comes to our facilities has to do a temperament eval. So they can't have a boarding or a daycare with us until they get a temperament eval, which means we bring them in for 4 hours. We walk, we make sure that they're not kennel aggressive. One of the problems in the dog industry, a lot of owners that don't know any different, when their dog does something wrong, like pees in the carpet, they put the dog in the kennel. And then the dog learns that the kennel's a bad thing. It should never be a bad thing. But that's the first thing, is that now I'd say probably 5% of the dogs that come through don't make it, and so they don't pass the temp eval. Once they do that, they're still dogs, and so they could get riled up. The other thing is we're constantly redirecting dogs. We always have somebody in with the dog, so we're redirecting if we see a problem happening. So on. But what if it happens? And if that happens, normally it's a personality conflict. Just like people, dogs have If it happens, then our team, oh, there we go. Our team will then evaluate the situation and say, how bad is this? What happened? We then decide, are we going to take the dog into the vet? Because all the owners have to sign a document, a disclosure stating that we can take care of their dog.
So yeah, cool.
I was trying to try big shot Craig because Makai was there, but then he put her down right as I was doing it. So
I know.
Great job, Craig.
She wanted to go back out with Auntie.
Yeah, and and the last thing, Dave, is we always communicate with the owners. We call the owners, and just like let me just talk about owners for example. It's like any industry.
There's nothing we like talking about more than owners.
well, I don't, and I'm not talking about like you guys talk about owners of hotels. I'm talking about.
We know that. Craig's just a very funny guy.
yeah. But the great thing is most consumers are awesome, and but there's what is the number, guys? 5% of the consumers you're never gonna be able to take care of. There's always a reason. They're trying to find some reason.
On this show, it's more like 99%, but we've made peace with that. Yeah.
Well, I just don't want any of my customers to watch this and then say, "Oh, John hates me."
Don't worry, they're not watching anyway. Don't worry.
But guys, here's the deal, and this is important. Here's the deal: is that the hotel business is one thing. You know, a lot of people that go work in the hotel business. I'm not talking dog. I'm talking your business, the hotel business. Right. A lot of people get into the business. They think, "Oh, wow, I'd love to work at a business hotel because these business travelers are awesome and they love to travel." Well, not all the time, and not most of the time. Or it's even harder to work at a leisure hotel, especially a resort hotel, because you've got travelers that are not professional travelers that may be asking for things that can't be. Oh, I was guaranteed a connecting room. I was, this or that. And the difference with the pet industry is it's so emotional. If any little thing, like the other day, a couple weeks ago, we had a dog that did not pass the temp eval.
Right.
And the last thing we want to do is fail a dog, because then we don't get the business, right?
Right.
We failed a dog. This person was so upset. They said her dog was the perfect dog and we don't know what we're doing. So that stuff happens. It doesn't happen often, but it happens. And that's the tough thing, because what happens, guys, in any customer service business, any consumer business, 99 out of the 100 of the people are good, are decent. I'm just going to go with that.
Yeah,
but you always have that one person,
Right.
and then that is the person that all of your employees remember, right? They don't remember the 99 great customers; they remember the one. And if you're busy and you're taking care of a couple hundred people a day,
right,
then you're going to get one or two of those a day. Just think of those restaurants, So that's something that the labor side of it is tough. And I kind of went to the labor. If you were to ask me what's the toughest part of what I do now, it's the labor. It has completely changed. I believe the same with restaurants and hotels, but it's completely changed for my industry since COVID.
Yeah,
completely changed.
Yeah, although every industry it's changed. Real estate, hotels, finance, retail, restaurants, everything's changed. There's no doubt about that.
But at the end of the day, when you see these dogs, it's incredible, guys. It's similar to what the hospitality business, and at the same time, it's different. But it's pretty incredible. And I didn't talk much about the consulting business I have, Retrieve One. We have a blast with that. We work with several different owners of hotels, pet hotels, and grooming salons, and other things like that. Especially with all the growth that's going on. And then the pet toy business. Here's one of my toys. Nice. What's cool about our toys, this is the Fuzzy Owl. Every toy has a tennis ball in it, or a rope, or both. And then we've got these where the dogs chew on them. This is a pepper, the chili pepper. And this is the pepper where we put treats in them. So we've got about 100 SKUs, and we love it. So yeah, my life has gone to the dogs.
Where are the toys manufactured at? You said you're going global on those.
Yeah, we manufacture them all in China.
Okay.
And they're brought here. Most pet toys are manufactured in China. I would love to manufacture them here if it were cost effective.
It's not cost effective. Yeah, it just isn't. Yeah.
So, John, now there's kind of two parts to this question. The first part is, are you guys offering? And I'm going to have to actually jump off after I ask this question, because I have a sick family at home, but I will catch the recording, or I'll jump on to
John, unfortunately, our code for sick family means he hates our guest. So sorry about that.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Don't believe
this is the old call me 15 minutes and I'll give you the code word if I want to get off of this date.
Yeah. This is a state secret. But what type of franchise opportunities do you offer, if any, at this point? Number one. And number two, obviously Craig especially is big into the whole deals, or the deal side of the business. How would getting a loan for a doggy hotel differ than getting a loan for a regular hotel? Maybe it doesn't differ at all. How does that look? I'm assuming your cost structure is a lot less. So what does that look like? And I'm going to run on that note. Bye, guys.
See you later, December day, Dave.
Thanks.
Bye.
I'm really fascinated